looking at probably a series of waves that's going to continue at least for the nighttime hours for the California coastline and well into tomorrow.
I'm joined now by my presenter friend, Joey Durso. He's a senior data journalist for the Times and the Sunday Times. Welcome to the show, Joey.
Thanks for having me.
Listen, we're going to start, mate, with the story of this tsunami in the Pacific, where large waves have already hit Hawaii and Japan, triggered by an 8.8 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Russia. Advice has been issued for people to get to higher ground. Hawaii Governor Josh Green addressed citizens in a press conference.
You can expect a tsunami wave to hit the state, and it will not just hit one beach. It will wrap around the islands very likely, therefore causing a wave in Hilo, in Kona, and Kauai, and on Maui. You have to be safe, and please do not come back out until we give you the all clear. That will be very important. We'll be constantly updating you. If you stay on beaches, you could risk death. You have to be careful.
Okay, I mean, Joey, obviously there are distressing overtones here of the 2011 tsunami.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the funny thing about a tsunami is, unlike when an earthquake, the epicenter is underneath the city or whatever, it takes a long time to play out. You know, the Hawaii is a very long way away from Russia, so we don't quite know how big this is going to be, how bad this is going to be. You know, 8.8 is a massive earthquake. That's one of the biggest in the last few decades.
Yeah, and I guess it's something that we might not know even today, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know the exact time, so I think it's a few hours. But, you know, 8.8 is, I think it's bigger than the one that hit the Asia on Boxing Day 2004. It's certainly bigger than the one that devastated Haiti, which was directly below a city. But hopefully, because it hit quite a remote area and there's been quite a lot of warning through tsunamis, it won't be on that scale, but we need to wait and see how it plays out.
Okay, well, let's hear now from Dave Snider, the Tsunami Warning Coordinator at the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration in Anchorage, Alaska. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you, gentlemen. Good to see you.
Listen, just take us through, please, Dave, where this earthquake has actually taken place and where the most at-risk places are. What are you seeing in your reports?
Yeah, great question. Right now, the Hawaiian Islands have changed their alert status from a warning to an advisory, so that suggests that we're seeing improving water conditions there along the coast. There is still an ongoing tsunami in those areas, but the immediate and worst threat may have passed the islands. For the northern parts of the California coast, though, we are still under a tsunami warning, so areas north of San Francisco Bay to the California state and Oregon state border. We're still seeing wave after wave arrive at that coastline there. And as we've seen already tonight in parts of Alaska and parts of Northern California, the first wave is not the largest. There's tsunamis, a series of waves over and over again. And each one of those has the opportunity to grow a little bit larger. And each time it comes in, it grabs whatever is on land and can pull that back out. And then that process returns and over again. So we're looking at probably a series of waves that's going to continue at least for the nighttime hours for the California coastline and well into tomorrow. And the rest of the Pacific is also settling down. So just as if you are sitting in the bathtub and you raised your hands up very quickly from the bottom, that puddle in the bathtub would slosh back and forth for a long time before it got back to that steady state. And we're not quite yet ready to start seeing things settle down. It's going to take several hours, maybe even days, before everything gets back to zero.
And we mentioned 2011, of course, the terrible Boxing Day tsunami in 2004. Right. How does this compare in terms of both magnitude and potential consequences?
Well, the consequences are huge, of course, and the longer we go from significant events like that, the more the complacency grows, of course. So we have to maintain that readiness and constant reminders and conversations with people, and then we hope and pray that on days like this, they have done the right thing because there is no more time to prepare. Heard the quote that you were getting from the Hawaii official there, and that was exactly the right message. At this point, you need to get off the beach, take this seriously until we have information that this event is over, and that is the message that we're sharing with the U.S. West Coast, Hawaii, and our Pacific Island friends tonight.
But how effective are those warning systems in terms of getting warnings, particularly to remote communities?
It's a struggle. For all parts of the world, it is important to layer those levels of communication. So we've got the direct communication with emergency managers and officials, and we have communication channels that go directly to the public, but there's a lot of in between. And we hope that each one of those works all the time, but sometimes one of them's a little faulty. So we want to make sure that we've got a stack of those, like a good chocolate cake, to make sure that we've got enough information hitting all the people and all the channels in all the ways so that they can take that immediate and protective action every time.
Unlike some natural disasters, of course, this does have the capacity to play out over several days. Are we looking into tomorrow, potentially longer?
Yeah, I would say at least through tomorrow. The amount of wave activity that we're seeing along the U.S. West Coast proper tonight, it looks like it's going to go for quite some time. So you'll probably see alerts up on the tsunami.gov website for quite a while, at least into throughout the entirety of Wednesday, I would expect. What we have to do is wait for those levels to drop down below our alert status, which is about 30 centimeters or so, for 3 hours before we can drop the alert. And even then, there's still a threat for local communities, because while we're not looking at inundating water into a community at that point or something that could be damaging to a bay or a harbor, there's still strange and unusual currents and tides that can be dangerous to a person or even a boat. So that local effect that is harder to understand on a global scale could still be ongoing for days after we drop our alerts.
Okay, Dave, thanks very much for joining us on Times Radio.
Sure thing. Thank you.
That was Dave Snider there from the US National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration.
Aloha, everyone. So thank you for sticking with us. Also, thank you for being calm and being safe. So far, we have not seen a wave of consequence, which is great relief to us. It's kind of a blessing to not be reporting any damage. We have seen significant water recede several times in Haleiwa, and there were 2 waves that were measured coming through the Midway Atoll. So that's been our concern. We expressed how tall they were. The first one, 30 centimeters, the second one, a full 3 feet with an amplitude, but also a total height of 6 feet from trough to peak. Right now, we still have not seen any wave activity come past the Big Island. That's important. Until we see what happens on the Big Island and the full wraparound of the islands, we won't feel that we are in a position to start seeing and saying that we're kind of in the clear. We expect to be about 2 to 3 hours at least until we can call all clear. So far, though, at the moment, so good. A couple things. HECO continues to monitor the situation. There's not been, at least to our report, any power loss, and there's no plan to shut off any power at this time in advance. Do not call, please, 911 unless you have an emergency. That's important. Keep that line available in case something significant happens. On transportation roadways, don't get on the road at all unless you need to. Just lay low tonight and watch television, please. If you're on a coastal road and you've been in gridlock, if that happens anywhere and we don't think that's happening, you have to be at least 100 feet above sea level or 2 miles inland, just in case. But at this point, we're not seeing that problem. The airports have not yet been impacted, of course, by a wave, but all flights in and out of Maui have been canceled for tonight. There are about 200 people sheltering at the terminal. We hope to take care of them comfortably. We'll certainly do that. The Department of Transportation shut down the Maui airport lobby, and there are no flights out just yet. In the morning, those sheltering, we're going to rescreen them, and we're going to take care of them, like I said. All clear, like I said, has not happened yet. Just be a little safe for a little longer. We are going to have another signature meeting at about 9 p.m. and then we will have Mr. Barrios, our captain, and our general come back out and give you at least one more update tonight. I'm going to defer now to Barrios, but look, everything has been okay so far. We haven't seen a big wave, but when that water receded in Haleiwa and we saw some boats kind of laying on the dry rock and sand, that gave us pause. That doesn't happen for no reason. When the water pulls back like that, that means there's activity in the ocean. So again, keep our fingers crossed that we don't suffer a big tsunami. Again, people have been very thoughtful and very safe, and that's something we appreciate. Aloha.